Welcome to this video today. We will talk about the shark. First, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive all new. Shark. Of the fishes of the sea, most of them are predators, some of them are not predators. They are many types and live in most of the world's seas and oceans. Sharks differ from each other in body shape, size, habits, behavior, and food. Through fossils, 2,000 species of sharks have been discovered. Half of these species have become extinct, some of which are very different from the traditional form that we know of the shark. For example, some are almost flat, they live on the bottom of the sea, while others resemble strange, imaginary aliens living on deep depths. Another type that scientists have discovered about the shark is called hidden shark, often between fog and fossils. There are some common and almost identifiable characteristics in all types of sharks. Unlike ordinary fish, sharks do not have a skeleton but rather a cartilaginous structure. In some places of their structure they are supported by tesserae support plates that are made of solid calcium salts. All sharks grow their teeth continuously, the teeth fall out and are constantly replenished with new teeth. Some sharks grow thousands of teeth in 1 year. Sharks also have very little teeth on most parts of their skin that make them rough to feel as if they are sandpaper. Sharks have at least 5 pairs of gill plaques, often located on either side of the head. Some types of sharks have 7 pairs of them. Most regular fish have swimming bags, for balance, snorkeling and floating, that prevent these fish from falling or diving to the bottom. The evolution of the marine shark. The fossil record for sharks extends to more than 450 million years ago now, also before vertebrates are on the ground as well as before many plants colonize the continent. The first shark in history is very different from modern sharks. Most modern sharks can be traced back to about 100 million years ago now. Mostly large groups of fossilized shark teeth have been found, and in some cases some internal skeletal pieces have been found. In fact, they are cartilaginous but not skeletal, and some fossils of whole shark skeletons have been found. Estimates indicate that tens of thousands of teeth grow for sharks over just a few years, and this explains the mystery of discovering the fossilized teeth of sharks in such abundance. The sharks had cartilage structures instead of skeletons covered with a semi-intermittent bone layer consisting of thousands of apatite prisms, calcium phosphate. When the shark dies, the skeleton decays and the apatite prisms scatter. The entire shark skeleton is fossilized only when it quickly seals under sandy sediments on the bottom. Among the most prominent very early primitive sharks is the Cladocellache, dating back to about 370 million years ago now, which was found in the Paleozoic era, an era of 251 million years ago now, in the layers of Ohio, Kentucky and Tennessee. It was at this point in Earth's history that these rocky layers of fine sandy sediments formed in a shallow and wide ocean floor that covered most of North America. The length of the shark, Cladocellache, did not exceed 1 meter and had solid, inflexible, fins triangular in shape and had a relatively slender jaw. His teeth had several pointed heads that were quickly consumed when used. By the number of teeth found anywhere, it is more likely to say that Cladocellache could not replace the fallen teeth as regularly as in modern sharks. The rear tail fins were similar in appearance to the Macus shark, which lives in the oceans, as well as to the great white shark. The discovery of the remains of whole fish with primitive tails suggests that Cladocellache was a fast-swimming and very agile movement. Most of the fossils discovered for sharks dating back to 150 to 300 million years ago can now be classified into 1 or 2 groups. One of these groups is xenocanths, and xenocanths were living only in this freshwater environment. 1 million years ago, now and then, it has been almost all over the world. The other group, called hybodonts, appeared about 320 million years ago before, and most of them lived in the oceans and to a lesser extent in fresh water. Modern sharks appeared about 100 million years ago. A fossil toothbrush mackerel shark originated in the early Cretaceous era. The oldest fossil of the shark's white tooth waited to 60 to 65 million years ago now, around the time of the extinction of the dinosaurs. At the beginning of the development of the white shark there are at least 2 lineages, one with rough, serrated, saw teeth may have later evolved into the current large white shark, the other lineage was a soft tooth, less rough, that tended to achieve a larger size. This group includes extinct sharks such as Megalodon, and Carcharodon, which have been identified as most of the extinct sharks through the detected teeth. Perceptions of reconstructing her jaw were based on the size of her large teeth, most of which reach 17 centimeters, or the thickness of the thickness was about 25 to 30 meters. But it finally turned out that the length estimate was not accurate, and the new revised estimates indicate that its length was about 13 to 16 meters. It is believed that the massive size of predatory sharks, such as the large white shark, arose from the extinction of dinosaurs and the diversity of mammals. It is known that at the same time that these sharks evolved, some primitive mammals also evolved into water animals, such as the two animals. In all places where we find the teeth of large sharks, we also find abundant bones of marine mammals such as seals, pigs, and whales. Some of these bones frequently show the effects of a shark's prey attack on these mammals, and there are theories that indicate that giant sharks have evolved in such a way that they can benefit from larger prey. Shark attacks. Usually a shark does not attack a person, but there are incidents in which a shark attacked a person without excitement from a person. Informations. This majestic creature consists of 400 species, the types of which are divided into 30 families, each containing 8 members of the type called shark, and among the 400 species, only 30 of them are considered wild, which may represent a threat and a danger to humans. At the top of these 30 factions, including 4 types, are among the most dangerous types of sharks in the world, which are the white shark, the bull shark, the wild shark, and the oceanic shark, and despite all that, marine biologists considered the hostility to the sharks an injustice, therefore, they have been making strenuous efforts for many years to defend their environmental rights. It is true that shark is a natural enemy of man, but in reality it never competes with man for life in his environment on Earth. In addition to that, man was never at the top of his favorite menu. Usually, a shark attacks a person by mistake, including dangerous species that find no harm in attacking a person, but in reality they do not attack him unless they are hungry and have no alternatives, and of course this is not an invitation to dare and approach them, because the least fierce sharks may be causes death in one way or another, as approximately 50 to 75 sharks attacks occur annually, of which 5 to 10 lead to death. 9 out of 10 fishes attack at a depth of 1.6 meters from the surface. Most of these cases are fatal. In addition, most of the victims are men. Sharks are characterized by their permanent movement, so as not to sink, due to the lack of air bladders in them and the structure of these fish cartilaginous, and distinguishes the type of prey and the energy that you will take from them. His skills. The shark has strange skills, as it can evaluate its prey very precisely from the first bite, so that it can with amazing speed know the size of the nutritional energy that is, the fats it will get from this prey, and whether it is worth the trouble of trying. Therefore, seals and seafood are ideal prey. Because of the high percentage of fat in their bodies, while a slim person is not a delicacy. It is also mentioned that the shark does not sleep and does not stop moving from birth until his death, because his body is not equipped like other fish with air bags that help him to breathe, as it depends on the movement to pass water in his mouth where he crosses into the gills to complete the breathing process. Its history. And shark fossils date back more than 300 million years, i.e. before the existence of dinosaurs, and a few shark strains have survived to this day, retaining the basic physical characteristics they have inherited for more than 150 million years, which means that they carry many of the secrets of primary life. Scientists attribute the longevity of sharks to the physiological developments experienced by these organisms, which have special characteristics that allow them to be highly effective, whether in obtaining their food or surviving. The scientists of the sea and the pioneers of the depths were able to take pictures of the sharks from only 3 meters away. It is undoubtedly horror, and it was horrific to see piles and monolith piles of cut, pointed teeth, in various sizes and shapes, including flat ones capable of breaking snails and marine grasshoppers, including the long pointed ones that designed to cut the thickness of any fish, whatever its size, but for those dedicated to fighting marine mammals, it can with its steel teeth gnaw an enormous area of any whale, and split the seahorses and dogs with one bite. Her teeth act as sharp blades, and their hardness is like the hardness of a diamond. This monster attacks its prey in large numbers of up to 400 individuals wandering in the ocean waters and surrounds its prey with a quick attack that does not remain anything at all. The shark enjoys physical flexibility as it moves with amazing grace and great speed despite its size, unlike the fish that floats because of the size of its air bag, because the shark is moving up and down thanks to its liver, which is 1/4 the size of its body, and which contains a substance less dense than sea water. There are other types that depend on an air tank, and the sizes of this type range from a small dwarf that does not exceed 20 cm in length to a terrible giant of 18 meters and a weight of 20 tons. The shark possesses combined features that help it to sense the surrounding environment and detect it with extreme accuracy. For example, it has the ability enormous vision in the depths thanks to the presence of a reflective layer that amplifies the amount of light falling on the retina, which makes him able to feel the weakest lights. In addition to that, his skin contains conical-like compartments, which are full of ultra-sensitive nerve endings for the simplest resonance carried by water, along with a sense-strong sniffing, through which he can sense the smell of a single drop of blood in 100,000 liters of water, and this sense enables him to follow the effect of odors for several kilometers. Not to mention that the front of the nose is equipped with a type of sound pause, so it can be inferred from any electric field, no matter how small, meaning that he is able to monitor any muscle movement, no matter how weak. These are the weapons supplied by this unique monster, which gives him the ability to swim distances of up to 100 km per day and depths extending to 2,000 meters. This is the shark that sowed terror in the beaches of California and Australia, which people called the teeth of the sea, but scientific facts lie to the fabric of the myths that people narrated it, and all those Hollywood exaggerations. It does not persist in human flesh, and does not like it, but it is often attacked by fear and self-defense. Its fishing has turned into a profitable trade, which threatens the existence of its species in its natural environment. 800,000 tons were hunted during the 90s of the 20th century. The strange thing is that everything in the body of this animal calls to hunt it. Its meat is delicious and tonic for the heart valves. As for its fins, it has become part of the activity of black market networks that find boom and open markets in China, Thailand, Korea, Singapore and other prosperous Asian countries, and in the luxurious restaurants in these countries the price of a shark fin soup dish, which is said to have some health benefits similar to sexually transmitted Viagra drugs, is €150. Aquatic and marine biologists say that this demand for shark fin soup threatens to eliminate one of the oldest creatures and threatens the ecosystem that suffers from increased rates of overfishing. Environmentalists warn that some sharks, such as hammerhead and the great white shark, have decreased their numbers by up to 70% during the past 15 years, and this is very worrying for natural scientists, the environment and animals, especially in front of the fact that some other species disappear completely from the seas and oceans. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations estimates that 856,000 tons of sharks and some other species of fish of the same species were caught in 2003, and this frightening amount is 3 times higher than that caught 50 years ago when the hornfin soup turned to a symbol of wealth and prestige in Asian societies. As for shark fin soup, to which mushrooms, meat and other seafood are added and cooked for 8 hours, it is considered a traditional meal in marriage ceremonies and other celebrations. His popularity in China has increased with the increase in the size of the middle class there. In addition to the above as a threat to his presence in the environment, there is a great interest in the major international fashion houses in his skin, which are exploited as elegant and expensive bags for the hands of women and shoes in their feet, which leads to this insatiable in hunting the unjust. It is worth noting that cancer-fighting scalamine has been discovered and is found in its stomach. Sharks are on the way to extinction, especially some species that are in danger, as the species that disappears reaches 20 species, which prompted Western governments to sign the Rome Treaty of 1999, which prohibits the hunting of some species during their reproductive period.